are lots of people out there who do what I do, but they're not me. Just because you posted something on social media, it doesn't mean that you can't use it in your emails. I started with a list of 0. I had no one on my email list. I knew I wanted to send weekly. I added my husband and me. Those are the first 2 people that got my newsletter. Because if you don't start sending, how are you going to show people what they're missing out?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Just Send It to Marketing, a podcast where we analyze a brand, a story, a campaign, but most of all things marketing. Today we start season 3. And if you have been following us for the last 2 seasons, you're going to notice a little different now. We are moving forward to season 3. We're going to start bringing a guest in every episode, a marketing expert to talk us through their journey, their expertise. And to kick things off, I'd like to welcome Minal. She's the founder of Marketing by Minal, and she's also an email marketing expert. So Minal, welcome, and thank you for joining us. And so why don't we start by you telling us a bit more about your journey and how you started with email marketing?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So my journey with email marketing started almost 13 years ago when I was recruited to join Constant Contact, which is an email marketing company. And I spent 4 years there as the head of marketing for the UK. And I met hundreds and hundreds of small business owners that I, advised on marketing and particularly email marketing. And in 2016, I was made redundant, and I was a little bit scared of what would come next because I knew I didn't want to go and work for a big corporate, and I knew that I would miss working with small businesses. And it was actually my husband who suggested that I start working for myself. And that's where this started. And so I've been working for myself for almost 9 years and just wanting to help small business owners understand how they can start to use email marketing. If they are a little bit scared, a little bit nervous, everything that I do is designed to help them get over those nerves and fears and give them the tools and tips and equipment that they need to just start sending emails, because what's the worst?
So, Minal, thank you again for joining our podcast. I wanted to ask you that many of the marketing people, or not in marketing as well, they come and ask me what exactly is email marketing. So that is where the journey starts from. So if you could just help me in a few sentences, telling what exactly is email marketing.
Yeah. So obviously email marketing starts with you sending emails, but these emails have to be kind of professional looking. And especially if you're a small business, you feel maybe you don't have the tools and the equipment that you need to look as good as the big businesses, but you do. That's available in email marketing software for you. But professional looking emails that really represent your brand, that give people relevant information, the information that they sign up for. So when they join your email list, you will have told them the types of things that you're going to send them. And that relevant information is important because at any point, subscribers can make a snap decision. If you're sending them things that they feel are not relevant to them or maybe are not interesting to them, they will unsubscribe. And you don't want that to happen, because when they do, you can't communicate with them anymore. But worse still, if they think that it is irrelevant and they're not getting what they signed up for, they could mark you as spam. So you need to make sure that you're sending the right things, the things that you promised at the outset. And that needs to be put together in a way that works on all different types of devices, because we are quite stuck to these.
True.
And a lot of people read emails on mobile devices. So I always say, with email marketing, design for mobile first, and then everything else will work. It's relevant information at a time that is good for them. So you'll understand as you start sending more and more emails, you'll understand what the best time is for your list. But realistically, it's about building relationships. Don't think of email marketing as a one-way street. You want to build that relationship with your subscribers.
Right.
Yeah. You mentioned that you've been running your business for around 9 years, and you also mentioned how mobile phones now, people read emails more on mobile. Could you see a difference in an evolution of how people read emails back then 9 years ago to how they read emails now?
Yeah, for sure. And like even more than 9 years ago, so the tool that I use, Constant Contact, tells me the split between emails that are read on laptops and on mobile devices. Now, for me, I feel like I'm a bit of an outlier because most of my emails are opened up on laptops. And that could be because I'm targeting small business owners and my emails go out at a time that they're probably working their laptop. However, if you're targeting consumers and you're maybe, you've decided through trial and error, you've tested, and you send your emails on a Saturday morning and you're targeting parents. Well, what happens on Saturday mornings? Parents are normally ferrying their children from one place to another, various activities. And in between the taxi driving and the waiting for them to finish their football games and whatnot, you're on your phone reading your emails. You're scrolling. So there has been a marked change, and you do really need to think about how your emails are going to be read and make sure that if you know that a good proportion of your list reads their emails on their mobile phones, that they look good, that they're legible, that people can see what you want them to do straight away. So it's really important for you to be able to get the action that you want people to complete.
Sure. And so when you're planning your client emails and the strategy with them and recommend them when and what to say and how to say, do you take into consideration, so for example, let's take the parents as an example. They, on a Saturday, they don't have much time to be on their phones. So they might have their half an hour or 45 minutes while the kids are doing the swimming classes to scroll on their phones.
Yeah.
So how, as a parent, as a client, how can I fight with all the other tons of emails I have on a Saturday, for example? So I guess planning the content is key, right?
For sure. So one of my clients is actually a manufacturer of dog treats. And we have discovered that Saturdays really are a good day for them to send. And so I always work hard to make sure that the subject line captures people's attention. We want that to stand out in people's inboxes so they read it there and then. And make sure that the pre-header text, which comes under the subject line, is doing a lot of work to support that, the subject line to sort of intrigue or entice people to think, well, I need to open this now. They may not take action straight away, but they may open it straight away and go, oh yeah, I need to do that when I get home, and they've set themselves a reminder. But if you're asking people to buy something, if it's a quick action and they can go to your website, buy the dog treat, pay for it, because your website is mobile responsive as well. You've made a sale there in not very much time, but it has to be something that is quick to do. The action has to be easy and the email has to be easy to read, and you need to get over what you want them to do very quickly.
Nice. Do you think, Minal, when we say that it has to be quick and the action has to be quick, and do you think that how many words are there in the subject line that matters? So, for example, the attention span of a specific target market or a specific consumer, that matters, or does it change with every target market or consumer profile?
Realistically, you've got
Yeah.
the first two words in your subject line are the most important.
Right.
The first two. So people will look at who the email is from and the first two words of the subject line, and that you can imagine how quick that is.
Yeah.
And that helps them decide whether they want to open the email or not. So, things like December newsletter, just don't cut it anymore. You have to be cleverer about it. You have to really get into the minds of your readers and think like what would make them open it. And like if you've created your customer avatar, your ideal customer profile, there's so many words, so many
Your
descriptions.
persona.
Persona, if you've created that and you know exactly who you're targeting, you should be able to really have a good solid guess at the types of things that will make them want to open your email. You'll understand the things that are important to them. Things that will that will trigger them to think, oh, I need to do that right now. And that just depends on the business. So for me, I know that I target small business owners, primarily service providers. So I know that they don't have a lot of time. I know that they want to make the most of email marketing. So all of that stuff needs to be in your head. And if you have done that work and perhaps you've even got one person on your email list who is absolutely fits that profile to a T, you've got a name. So you're writing for that one person and you're thinking about what will that one person, whatever their name, what will Andre think about this email when I send it? So there's a real tendency to write quite abstractly and write generically. But if you think that you're writing to one person, like you both are too young, but in the good old days, when we used to write a letter to somebody, you would write to that one person and you would write a letter as if you were having a conversation with one person. And if you, when you write your email, although it's going to go to a mass list, so you might have 100 or 150 or 2,000 people on your list. But if you write that email as if you're writing to one of them, then when they receive it, they feel like it's for them, right? It doesn't feel like you've written something that's just generic and is designed to go to lots of people.
And one of the things that, because we are customers, we receive email marketing. So I think when you're planning something, look on your inbox. What is getting your attention? Try to learn from that. That's what I try to do and apply to my marketing as a marketeer, obviously, because at the end of the day, I'm also a consumer. So how easy would be to convince your client, for example, looking on numbers, right? Because we are humans and we're all driven by numbers, basically. Yeah. So sometimes it's easier to forget that even if you have a 10 people mailing list, if you make one sale out of that 5, it's worth the effort. But people tend to, I'm assuming obviously that people tend to only focus on growing their mailing list without sometimes worrying on, let's focus on what we have now. Is there a reality with email marketing as well?
It can be. And I think that's because I think that's what we've been conditioned to, especially with the rise of social media, I would say, where if you look at social media like 10, 12 years ago, everyone aspired to those big numbers. And the more people that you had following you, the more engagement that you got, and the more you were seeing, more visibility. And of course, that's not true these days, but I feel like that's had a knock-on effect on other aspects of marketing, where people want to see these big numbers. And realistically, whatever you take Facebook or you take an email list, if you've got thousands and thousands of people, but they're not doing anything, what is the value of that? But if you've got an email list that's got 100 people on it, and every time you send an email, 90 people open it, and out of that 90 people, 50 people take the action. That's actually something that you should aspire to, because they're actually engaging with what you do, and you're then able to understand what interests them, so that you can keep serving up more of the content that they like. But having a massive email list that doesn't do anything is oh, you're just giving the email service providers your money because you're paying for that.
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
think
that's true.
quality.
And I was going to ask you, you mentioned that you start and then you kind of grow and build up your community around that kind of mailing list. So as a small business owner, how do you start? How do you even get your foot out of the door with email marketing?
I say that, so choose your email service provider wisely. They're all starting to restrict access for their free plans. So at some point, you are going to have to pay. So don't choose one just because it's free. Of course, if you like it and there is a free version and you feel that you can grow with it, perfect. But don't choose it just because it's free, because you will be restricted on what you can do with it. So pick something that's easy to use. Pick something that has good support, hopefully telephone support, has lots of, has a big knowledge base so that you can, if you need to, you can self-serve to educate yourself. But that easy to use is really important, because as a small business owner, you don't want to be trying to figure out how to use something. You want it to be something that's intuitive and doesn't take a lot of time. So choose that wisely. Make sure that they've got all the features that you want. So you can send the newsletters, but make sure it's got email automation. You've got list growth tools. Make sure the reporting works for you. So try 2 or 3 of them, and pick the one that really suits your needs and is going to grow with you as your business grows. And make a plan. Make a plan, work out what your strategy is. What do you want to achieve? How often do you want to send? What are you going to talk about? What's the mix of content? Because, we're happy to get sales emails if we know that that's what we're going to get. If you sign up for an email list that says, we are going to send you all of our latest deals and offers, that's what you're signing up for. But if you sign up for an email list that says, we're going to send you education and tips and news about webinars, and then you start getting all these offers, that's really going to put you off. So decide on your content. And you're a business. You have to sell stuff to be a business. And it's not a bad thing to sell, just not all the time.
Yeah.
So give your readers something that they feel is for them.
And be transparent, I guess. Tell them from the get-go.
Exactly. Tell them from the get-go what they're going to get.
Yeah. So with this, like as we said, we need to decide on the content before we say. So like in this span of artificial intelligence and heavy digital marketing and omni-channel approach to every field, how do we stay ahead in terms of email marketing? Because as a consumer right now, as Andre said, when you first look at your inbox and see what attracts you. So for me, it has always been the colors. So, the color scheme of the email marketing, that was always attractive for me. If it's subtle, I'll always open an email. Or if it's subtle, color palette with a good 2 few words of subject line, I'll open that email. Some things like that. So that's what I'd observe. So how do you stay ahead of this? So do you plan content consistently, specific interval wise, or?
Yeah, I would say with everything in marketing, you need a plan. You need a plan, because the minute you sit down at your laptop and think, right, I'm going to write my email, what am I going to write today? There's like a gajillion other things that are pressing for your time. And you're going to sit there and think, oh, I really need to send this email. What shall I write? What shall I write? And the phone might go, or there might be a panic with a client, or whatever it is. And then that just gets put to, I'll do that later. I'll think about that later. And it doesn't happen. And, you both know that with marketing, consistency is key. You can't keep switching it on and off. It has to keep going all the time. So you need a plan. And even if that's just a skeleton plan of topics that you want to cover, you don't have to write the entire email. But like my planning, week by week, it just says, I use Notion. It just says in the calendar on Tuesday. Today I looked because I created next week's email this morning, and it said poll for webinar. So I know that I'm asking my email list what topic they want for the next webinar. So it's as simple as that, but I've planned it, and you don't have to have the whole year planned out in advance. I normally plan 3 months at a time. And it all comes back to, what are you trying to achieve? What are your goals for the year? And how can email marketing, your website, social media, how can all of those things support the goals that you're trying to achieve? And then that content will come out of that. If you know what your goals are, you'll know the content that you need to produce, and you'll know where to place it because you know where your target audience hangs out. It really, everything really starts with that, understanding what your goals are, understanding your audience, having a strategy, having a plan.
Yeah, and I think for email marketing, it's not too different from any other tool we have in marketing. It's a long-term game. You can expect to have returns on the first email. If you do great, it's
Brilliant. I want to
fantastic.
know what you did.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
For sure. But it's a long-term game.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, you have your email marketing and you have your website, your socials, and everything needs to be connected. Everything needs to be optimized.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to hopefully ask your reader to take an action that could land on your website or your socials or anywhere. It could be a quiz, a lead magnet, or whatever. But it's not a isolated marketing tool, is it? It has to be connected. It has to make sense within your business for sure, but also with the other places where your business appears.
When you stop thinking about them as silos, you understand how you can use content that you have already, even in those different ways. So just because you posted something on social media, it doesn't mean that you can't use it in your emails. Like if you've created this wonderful thing and it's taken you time, you want as many people to be able to see it as possible. So you have to look at your marketing holistically and look at how all the different aspects, all the different tactics help you to spread your message, to reach the people that you want to reach. So you can't think of them in isolation. So even though whilst I focus, like my business focus is email marketing, of course I look at other things. Of course I'm on social media. Of course I have a website. Of course I'm following experts who help me understand SEO and help me understand how to look at my analytics and help me understand what the latest trends are on social media. And of course you need to know all those things. You need to be across all those things. And everything that you do needs to work together to get you to the goal that you've set for yourself.
I think marketing is one field where it's so dynamic and keeps changing. I think every day, every fortnight keeps changing. I need to be updated with the trends and everything. Andre, I think you also must have experienced this. One in the first newsletter that I had sent, Minal, the open rate was like 0. The biggest demotivation I could ever get was from
You're lying,
that.
Prachi. I'm sorry. You're
No,
lying. Because I
no.
opened
Andre, it
your
was
first
like
email.
1% because I knew Andre. So I think patience is the key here, Minal. I think with whenever you start something new, and email marketing is one of them. So
yeah, and
I
just because I have worked with email, I worked for an email marketing company. When I started my business, everybody assumed that I would be really successful with email marketing straight away. I started with a list of 0. I had no one on my email list. I knew I wanted to send weekly. I added my husband and me Those are the first two people that got my newsletter. Because if you don't start sending, how are you going to show people what they're missing out on? You can't share that. You can't put it on social media. You can't show people what they're missing out on if you don't have something to show them. And actually, one of the people who has been through my online course said to me, before he started it, he said to me, I didn't want to start a newsletter because I didn't have a list. And I didn't want to grow a list because I didn't have a newsletter. How do you get yourself out of that? You have to start, because that kind of thinking is just, it's going to stop you from moving forward. But if you create that newsletter, even if you ask 3 of your friends to join your email list so that you can send it out, you have something to show your target audience. You have something that you can share that shows them what they would get if they join. And that's how I started growing my email list. So everyone starts from zero. Everyone starts at the beginning. It's the starting that is the key thing.
It's having that commitment, I guess, isn't it? So once you have, even like you said, your husband, you have to send, because he'll be waiting for your newsletter.
I mean, he wasn't, and he did unsubscribe. So, I mean,
oh, well.
He's still married, though. I forgave him.
Well, you worked. He helped you to keep sending.
He did.
But yeah.
So, I mean, just everyone has to start at the beginning. No one starts as an expert. And even though I worked for an email marketing company, I still had to learn how to do that for myself, because a lot of the emails that were sent out, we had a team. I had a team that did it. I had a social media team. I had a content team. I had a website team. I had to learn everything. That people just, I would just get sent reports. They would appear like magic. But I had to start from scratch. So it's everyone starts from that place. It's having the plan and being consistent that will help move you forwards.
I want to go back to one thing that you said, which was when you're doing your newsletter, you already write for the next week, so it's already done. And it's going to be a poll. You're going to ask questions to your current list, and that's basically giving you feedback on topics and ideas on what to write in the future. So it's giving your audience voice to basically tell you what they want, isn't it? And it's basically taking what they want and write about, and hopefully they're gonna like even more.
Yep.
Is that the strategy behind? So you use them to work. They work for you, basically. But
well, listen, we all have opinions and we all like to share them.
Correct.
Some people don't wait till they're asked.
True.
But if you ask people what they want, invariably they will let you know. And then if you give them what they told you they want, invariably they'll turn up. So I will, I've given people a choice of 5 different webinar topics. The one that people vote for most will be the one that I'll do. But they are in charge. I'm not telling them what they want to learn. They're telling me. And when you give people that option, then they're more open to joining in, right?
Yeah. And if it's probably their most interested topic, if they're part of your audience, it probably will be someone else.
Absolutely.
So it just kind of creates that domino effect that if it's part of your audience and the strategy they like, someone else will like as well. It's like a big collateral kind of content that will resonate with more people.
Yeah. And I mean, just ask them what they want. People love being asked their opinion. So if you've got an email list already, ask them what they want to hear about. Give them some choices, or ask an open question. And
just
will tell
why
you.
not? What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. They're not going to answer.
They will not answer. Yeah.
They might not say anything. and you might need to think about it all over again. But I mean, people do. They generally want to be helpful, and they want to tell you the things that will help them.
Yeah, I agree. So Minal, you mentioned your course. So your email marketing course. How's that work? Is an online product? I can just buy it, and it's live lessons. Just give us a bit more information, because it's super interesting. I really like that.
Sure. It is all online and it's on demand. So you buy it and then you work through it as and when you can. I think there are 12 different modules, and I take you through right from the beginning, from like choosing your email service provider. I give you advice on what you should do. There's a little checklist that you can use when you're set up your trials. You can check off what things you like. From that to creating a strategy, and every module is accompanied by a video. So it's kind of like having me in the room with you a little bit. Some of the modules have assignments that you do, so that you submit them to me, and then I look at them and I say, oh, but you might want to just change this. So there's that little bit of extra help, and you get a certificate at the end.
Well done. That's nice. Oh, I love a certificate. I'm not gonna lie. I love it.
Okay, Andre, I think it's time that we rebrand our newsletter after doing the course.
Yes. I think so. But
yeah, it's designed to be, whether you're completely new or you want a refresher, everything is very simple. It won't take you very long. If you do a module, every day, you'll get done in 12 days. It's not very long. And you have lifetime access. So you can come and revisit anything that you want.
Okay.
And who is your course for? It's small businesses or anyone in marketing, or both?
Probably small businesses, unless you're a brand new marketer and you really don't know anything about email marketing, then that will give you a good grounding. But specifically for small businesses, because they don't have time to search loads of YouTube videos and stuff like that to get under the skin of it. So it's all in one place. And a lot of what I've learned over the last 9 years, and a lot of what I do with my clients.
Nice. So, Minal, like 3 things what would you suggest, like for the aspiring marketers, like, who want to step into marketing, email marketing, but don't know where to start? So 3 things that you can advise them, and that'll be a motivation for them to get along with marketing.
So the first thing is just make sure you know who your audience is, and that you understand what their challenges are, so that you can plan your content around them. So really get to understand that. Email marketing really helps you to kind of unleash a bit of creativity. It's quite fun because you can design your templates, your emails. So don't let that structure kind of tamper your creativity. So you can be creative. Think about the types of images that you can use, and all the different types of content that you can serve up, and look at, just like you would think about, what shall I do for that TikTok? How shall I? So you can be as creative as you want. You're not limited to what you can do in email marketing. And you don't have to create new content for email marketing. If you have things that have performed really well on social media, use them in your emails. And look at other marketers, look at other people who are doing things that you love. I follow a guy called Jay Shredelson, and he inspires me every day. I was just earlier, I was watching a video. He does a podcast. I don't know, the name of it has gone out of my head, and I don't get on with podcasts, but he'll post a little snippet of it on, it's called Do This, Not That. He'll post a little snippet of it on LinkedIn, and he was talking about testimonials, and I was like, oh, I really agree with that. But as a marketer, you can't, I've been doing this for nearly 25 years. You can't say that you know everything, because, as you said, Prachi, the marketing shifts and changes so much, and it's so dynamic that you are never going to know everything about everything. So it's teach it like a school day, and like use your time to soak up as much as you can from other people.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really valuable advice, Minal, because as a marketer and as a recent small business owner, I struggle with that I do marketing, but if I do email marketing, it has to be really well and has to get results straight away. But when I used to work for a company, like you said, I had the support. I didn't have to sell. I wasn't the account. I had someone doing my SEO, my web development, my socials. I just had to manage everything and make sure that the brand and the marketing was going to the same direction. And now I have to do everything. But I think it's giving a step back and realizing, okay, I can't do everything. I'm going to pick what I'm going to do. So email marketing makes sense for my business, for my audience. I'm going to have patience. I'm going to plan. I'm going to set my goals. I'm going to write in advance. And I'm going to add my husband as my first subscriber. And they're going to start. So basically, I think it's a really, really powerful advice. People need to be patient and give themselves time.
Yeah. And don't feel afraid to put your personality. Your personality is what makes you different from everyone else. But there are lots of people out there who do what I do, but they're not me. And that might be a good thing. That might be a bad thing. But don't be afraid to show your personality. And I think if you're a marketer that's working in a team for a corporate or something, it's difficult because you're really having to stick to the corporate brand and show the brand's personality, and it's not a lot of you that comes through. So you have to figure out how you can manage that. But if you're doing it for yourself, honestly, like having your personality on show in your emails, on your social media, on your website, best way of standing out from everyone else.
So I think we're reaching the end of our first episode of the season 3. First time with a guest. Minal, it's been a pleasure to have you on our podcast to talk to you about your company, about your journey with email marketing. And hopefully people will learn and take notes of your incredible, useful tips. Prachi and I are going to apply them ourselves for sure. And again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Bye.
Hi, it's me, Andre. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to check Minal's website and her social media links on the description. Also, make sure to subscribe or follow us whenever you're watching or listening to this. And please share this episode and leave a comment. See you again in 2 weeks. Bye.